Hello guys, from the first leg where the match ended 2-0 and Tekkz lost, let's continue with the second one. As you see, Tekkz already triggered the attacking gameplay, so he's going for goals, trying to turn things around. As the match begins, it only took 3 minutes for Tekkz to register his first goal, so let us take it back all to analyze the build-up. Here Tekkz is controlling his CDM. He realized that the middle is filled with the opponent's players, so he decides to take his attack through the wing. Tekkz realized that there's a big space in behind, so he initiates pass and move to trigger his player to run forward for possible through pass, but as the opponent is pressing aggressively he might block the pass. Tekkz immediately realized it and he passed to this player to open up the passing angle. Opponent immediately noticed it and he tries to cut the passing lane, which made this player free. The opponent notices it and he positions his player to be ready to press if Tekkz passes to this player, which again made this through pass open, and Tekkz knows it and so he took it. Then here he performs the ball stop because the opponent was fully committed at full pace, which opened up this pass and he immediately passes. While he is receiving the ball, he spots the big space in front. As he's pushing inside he noticed the pass far post, but he knows that his opponent is gonna block this pass by either switching to this player or using the current selected player, so he made a dribble towards that direction showing his interest in that pass. Then if the opponent tries to mark it, he turned towards the goal and shoot. As expected the opponent reacted, but still there was a defender. And Tekkz knows it 100% his opponent will switch to him and try to block or challenge the ball. That's why you see he turned before his opponent switches. Then he expects his opponent to switch to either one of these two players, in order again for him to turn and shoot when this player has no cursor. But the opponent didn't switch, so Tekkz canceled the shot and he turns. Then he spots the extra pass, took it and score. What I noticed here is that pros always vision two options, and if the opponent marks one, they take the second, so this makes it hard for the opponent to dispossess him when he's building up another one. As this year's FIFA series, the meta is extra pass in the box. When pros penetrate into the box, they keep on scanning for the extra pass. Everything they do, like dribbling or looking for shooting angles to score, but the main goal is that dangerous extra pass. Opponent kicks off after conceding, but Tekkz immediately dispossess him. It's not wise to lose possession cheaply like this when playing opponent like Tekkz. So as the opponent kicks off, he passes the ball straight to his left fullback. Tekkz switches to his winger. He has the skill of setting up traps, so observe the way he ran with his winger. He's forcing his opponent to go forward where he might be out of options. So now the opponent is positioned where he can't pass. Then Tekkz switches to his fullback and starts running towards the opponent. As his opponent starts feeling pressure, Tekkz immediately switches to his CDM to close the pass lane towards the opponent's CDMs. Opponent turns to avoid being tackled. Then now he's trapped, he cannot pass to this player. Then Tekkz switches to his fullback to apply more pressure. Here it seems like this passing lane is open, but later Tekkz holds the second man press button R1, which triggers this player starting press the opponent's player. Because of too much pressure the opponent was forced to take unnecessary pass. From that moment after Tekkz wins the ball back, he immediately pushes for quick counter-attack and he scores to level things up. As I told you, losing unnecessary ball possession when playing opponent like Tekkz, who is good at transitioning defense into attack. This is the crucial moment from this goal. As Tekkz is controlling Pele, he passed and Pele straight away he started running forward. He didn't trigger Pele to run forward, but Pele is the striker, and he has high-rated attacking position stats. Then here the opponent is cutting the passing lane, but he is unable to intercept the ball. When you rewind back, there are two reasons why the ball is not intercepted. One, this player is running this way, while the opponent is running that way too. Tekkz makes a dribble sides to open the passing lane. Then he performs a lofted ground pass by double tapping X, which is difficult to intercept. As Pele runs from the center up to here, he is available for the extra pass and opponent has nothing to do about it. Here Tekkz loses the ball in the box. Immediately he switches to his fullback to pull him to press. After he switches to his CDM and run towards the opponent, As the opponent passed to his striker, Tekkz switches to his center back and jockey to the opponent. The opponent feels the incoming pressure and makes a first-time pass. Before even releasing the ball, Tekkz already know that his opponent will pass, and immediately he switches to another center back, starts sprinting to press. So the opponent turns away from the incoming pressure and passes. Tekkz switches to his nearest defender and runs to the opponent, then he immediately switches to mark this player as he expects his opponent to pass him. But the opponent took another pass, so as the opponent progressed, Tekkz switches to his fullback and sprints towards him and immediately switches to his CDM, showing his opponent that I'm watching this pass. And immediately switches back. As the opponent is being chased down the wing, Tekkz displaced his fullback from his position, that's a big space left. His center back automatically drifts wide to cover up that space. But he also left space. Tekkz notice a dangerous through pass. He doesn't want to switch to this center back to drag him back to cover the space, because he will be leaving space for the opponent to sprint. But he has to cover this pass, so he have to switch to one of these defenders, and more especially this one. But that switch using the right stick analog is little bit challenging as it may land on this player. So he first switches to this center back to create a good angle, then he switches to this center back and starts dragging him, but the opponent triggers the player lock and it resulted into an error. So what I analyzed is that Tekkz knows the opponent's weakness. He can't not possess the ball in pressure situations, so Tekkz every time he presses him aggressively, forcing him to rush forward unnecessarily, he keeps on setting up traps and making the pitch small for his opponent. These are dribbling tricks you should master in your gameplay. Here Tekkz performs the ball stop, immediately he performs quick turns, so the art is here. Tekkz expects his opponent to switch to this player and challenge him in that direction, so Tekkz made another dribble horizontally in order to dodge the tackle if the opponent did so. As Tekkz already know the weakness of his opponent, but what I noticed here is that he uses offside traps a lot to push his back line high up the pitch. That's why he presses so aggressively. So if you're a player who is learning to defend aggressively, you should start using this mechanic. Then from that scenario where his opponent can't outplay too much pressure from Tekkz, immediately, as I told you, Tekkz is so good at transitioning from defense to attack, so he made a quick counter-attack and scored the third goal. The main keys in this build-up is the first touch. From the topic I recently told you, analyze how Tekkz takes his first touch. Here he passes to his CDM, he doesn't take his first touch horizontally because if his opponent switches to his defender, he can tackle the ball, but he takes it diagonally because he knows in this position, it's difficult for his opponent to challenge the ball. As Tekkz progress and passes, as he's receiving the ball, the pressure is coming from this direction. So he can't take his first touch in that direction. Instead he turns in the way of protecting the ball by putting his player in the middle of the ball, and the opponent's defender, he passes and here the pressure is coming to this direction. Again he receives the ball safely and again he passed, and again here he takes to the safe direction and his opponent is cutting the passing lane, so he progress and passes. Then here, as I told you in the last tutorial, sometimes take risks. Here Tekkz turns and his opponent did a good job of cutting this passing lane, but unlucky the defender is nutmegged by the pass and Tekkz gets his striker and scores. Again here the opponent is struggling to break down too much pressure from Tekkz. As he lost the ball, you know what is next, a quick counter-attack. And here is one of the example of the first touch, and took a through pass and grabbed the fourth goal, to seal the comeback. The opponent manages to grab himself a consolation after hardly struggling to break down Tekkz, so let's analyze the mistake from Tekkz. So the mistake was dragging his center back out of his position, as here he dragged Varane from his position when he was trying to apply more pressure, but Tekkz is aggressive defender and he knows the consequences from doing that. But that one mistake cannot stop Tekkz from doing he understands most. Here the opponent trying to look for the equalizer. Tekkz knows that any mistake from his defending can lead to the goal, but still he presses aggressively because he knows the weakness of his opponent. As you see here again, his opponent struggles to build up in pressure situations, And I discovered that knowing the opponent's game style is a big advantage to you, but I wonder how the opponent played in the first leg. So Tekkz just needs to take his time and wait until the clock ticks down. His opponent even triggered constant pressure, but Tekkz is able to outplay him.